Welcome to my blog again. I'm just going to explain what I've done over the last few weeks. It won't take very long, but it might give you a little bit of information on some of the kit that I've been using recently to just try and vary things a little bit and make some of the pictures more interesting than they would normally be. So I've been doing a mixture of photography. I've been doing film, black and white, that type of stuff, but I've also been doing landscape, and recently we've had some beautiful sunflowers. They have them every year over particularly in the Stonor Valley around here. And at the end of the day, the local farmers there, they allow people to come into the fields and then pick some of the sunflowers for charity. I've done an Instagram on that if you're interested. I might explain a little bit more about the flowers. The Instagram reel look quite cool with the music, that type of thing. Normally landscape photography, we want to get everything pin sharp, front to back. So the image that I'm showing you here, that was taken as soon as I turned up. The sky started kicking off pretty much straight away. Sun was below the horizon, and so it's bouncing off the clouds that are slightly higher above it, above the hills in the background. And yeah, that's great. And we shoot pretty much in a standard way. We use a tripod, pretty much a small aperture, so like f11 to f16, to make sure everything's in focus front to back. And sometimes I'll focus stack as well, even in those circumstances with a wide angle lens. But what I want to talk about is this lens here, which is a little gem really at the end of the day. I'm not affiliated to anyone, I'm not being sponsored by anyone. This is just a lens that I've come across that I really like. I'm a Canon user generally, and this is the 35mm. It's a 1.8 f1.8 lens, but it's a macro lens, and this is what's quite important about it. So it can be used for example street photography, very good for street photography. It can be used for architectural photography. It can be used for macro photography, and it can also be used for landscape photography, which is what I do. But I end up using this to actually put the background out of focus using its macro capabilities. And the reason is because, my view, sometimes when you leave the background more out of focus, or more of the picture out of focus, it just leaves that more interesting image where people look at it and go, oh well, I wonder what the rest of that image is really like shot. But actually no, now I can see what he's looking at in the foreground, and it just gives it that little extra dynamics to it, gives it a nice little bit of atmosphere, gives a hint of what is in the background, not throwing it in the viewer's face. And that's really what photography is a little bit about sometimes. So the specifics of this lens are, it's obviously 35mm fixed prime, very light compared to other lenses that I've got, so it's very easy just to throw in the bag and I keep it in the bag most of the time. Its image stabilization is I think it's got 5 f-stops, which is pretty phenomenal. And when you consider that, I think there's almost the same on the Canon R5 that I use. I mean, you're talking almost 10 f-stops there of light with image stabilization. I mean, that is pretty mega. And the image quality of this is pretty good. So stop down to 1.8, maybe a little bit woolly, but generally I'd normally use this from 2.8 upwards. So I've used it for nightscape photography, and you know, that's come across with some relatively good images. You just have to be careful. You don't want to stop it any further down than 2.8 because you get chroma, which I won't go into now, but it's a distortion on the edge of the image sometimes when you're at those wide apertures for nighttime photography. depending on the quality of the lens. So you can see here, this is with the first shot taken normally, pin sharp front to back. This is at sunrise, but then eventually the clouds have gone and I've moved on to doing some macro, and here we've gone back to doing some of the sunflowers close up. But this lens just pull out a little bit as well, and it gives it that context. I mean, there's the supporting roll slightly out of focus, but it just looks perfect like that. Then again, the sunflower in front here is perfectly in focus, but the rest, they're all blurry, and when you look at the blur, it doesn't look quite right, but put it all together and it just looks sublime. It's just such a great lens if you want to use it creatively. Oh, sorry, yeah, so let's get back to the point in hand here. So the point in hand here is it's actually got quite a small front element, and so the thread for any filters are very small, so that means your filters are cheap. I use this for black and white photography, that's why it's red. So and the quality is pretty good. It's not an L lens, but it is pretty rock solid. I think it feels nice. It's got a real nice feel to it. Very tactile lens, and it is small. So street photography, it's small, and it just sits in your kit and doesn't weigh you down when you're doing landscape photography and going up the mountains. Very versatile lens. So I'll post something on my website blog, just putting some of the pictures on if you want to have another look. And don't forget, we're coming up towards autumn soon, and it's all going to be those autumn woodland scenes and the likes. And I have a ebook if you're interested. It's about 140 pages and explains how you can go out there and find those compositions and be a little bit creative and get something that looks pretty cool image wise. And I'll probably do maybe one workshop. If you're interested, contact me, and maybe we could organise something. I'll probably go to Scotland as well, and I could even do a workshop in Scotland if anyone's really that interested.